Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Isabel, and I am the Starlight Witch. Today, we are going to be doing a very fun tag, and it's called Let's Go Shopping, and it was created by the lovely Mystic Mad. This is seriously so much fun, and I really hope that you're gonna enjoy my picks as much as I enjoyed choosing them for each and all of the prompts. I am also going to go a little bit rogue at the end because when I was thinking about these picks, I actually came up with two new prompts and I just really think they're very fun. Okay, so let's go shopping. First up, we're going to stop at the bakery, and this is a deck that is warm, cozy, and familiar. Now, this is probably the only choice for me, so you are probably going to see this deck a million times in my channel because it is my favorite. And so, yep, it is my favorite. So, yes, this is, of course, the Everyday Witch Tarot by Deborah Blake, and the art is by Elizabeth Alba. I'm very sorry about the glare, but it is kind of the evening, so I'm just turning on my ring light so you can see better in here. I need to figure out a better lighting situation that will not leave me with a circle of light. But yes, this is the first deck that I actually really and truly bonded with. I adore everything about it. This is fun and whimsical and such a clear reader. And I've said this before, but if I could choose one world from any of my decks to jump into and live there, it would be this world. I just adore everything about this. And I too want to be a witch with a pointy hat and striped stockings, living my best life with my cats. So, yes, this is my bakery deck, the Everyday Witch. Now, if I were to go to a bakery, I would probably choose something like cinnamon rolls. I am obsessed with cinnamon rolls. I love and adore them, and I would definitely be getting one in a trip to the bakery. If they had them, of course. But that would definitely be my choice. Okay, then we're gonna go to the candy shop. And this is a deck that it's bright, that it has bright colors, and it is sweet and fun. Now, the first thing that came to my mind with this prompt is this deck, the Once Upon a Time Tarot, and this is by Los Carabeo. The creators are Ilaria Fossi and Carol Ann Skenazi. I hope I pronounced that correctly. But yes, this is a very lovely mass market deck. These are the bags. This is one of my favorites from last year. Well, I think it was actually released in 2023, but I worked with it last year around my birthday. And this is actually part of my collection of fairy tale decks, and I love it. It's full of bright colors. All the cards in the major arcana actually portray a fairy tale, and all the minor arcana are actually divided into like four different worlds. So the wands, it's dragons. The swords, it's fairies. The cups is mermaids. And the pentacles are the cutest little mushroom gnomes. And I really love it. The art on this deck is just to die for. And It's really, really fun to use. It does come in a sturdy two-part box, but it has the type of cardstock that is more similar to the Los Carabeo talk box decks. So that makes it a great shuffle, and I really do love it. So, yes, I do have to apologize because I have to have my window open. It's very hot, and that means that there's going to be some noise here and there. I do hope it's not that bad, but I'm sorry in advance. I've etched my deck in gold. It won't come like these if you buy it new, but it is a great deck that I adore. Now, if I go to a candy shop, I am definitely getting something with chocolate. Absolutely. It has to be something with chocolate, and I don't know, maybe just chocolate because I am the kind of person that prefers just plain chocolate. Like, if you add other stuff, I feel like you're ruining my chocolate. So I know I'm weird. I'm sorry, but it is what it is. Okay. Next up is the Florists. A green or herbal deck. Okay, so this is one of my favorite ones, and it's the Seed and Sickle Oracle deck. This is by Fess Incrite, and it used to be by Liminal 11. So this is a mass market deck, although I do have the special edition version that has copper foiling on the cards. The edges are foiled in a copper metallic color. It comes with two different guidebooks, the dawn and the dusk, and it says on the box and in the back of the books as well that if you are actively working, creating something, you should read from the dawn guidebook, and if you are in your life in a season of rest and recovery or introspection, then you should read from the dusk guidebook. And it does work for me. I have followed these guidance, and it does work for me very well. This is a lovely deck. These are the backs. I adore the art on this deck. Is very colorful as well. It doesn't have any keywords on it, so you definitely need to go to the guidebook to get the message. At least if you, like me, are not very versed on plants and herbology. But still, I really do love this deck. I have paired it with many others, and it goes with a surprising amount of decks, and I really do enjoy it. I'm not sure what's going on with Liminal 11. I think that they've gone out of business and they might have merged or been bought by a different publisher. I think that their decks are now being published by Sterling Ethos, but that is a shame because, well, this used to be a great um, publisher, and I do have a couple of their decks and really love and enjoy them. But yeah, I do very much uh, love this deck. I think it's beautiful. And the guidebook is also really cool because it includes a number of folklore. It's not just like herbalist kind of information, but it does include some folklore on the plants and the flowers. And I think it's really cool to also learn about that as well. So yeah, that is my pick for the florist, the seed and sickle. Now, if I am going to the florist myself, I would probably get myself some roses. They are my favorite flowers, even though it sounds cliche. I don't care about being cliche anymore. I used to, sometimes. Um, if you like things that are rather popular, you'll probably find some people that will tell you that you are average and have no personality or shit like that, and I just don't care anymore. Roses are my favorite, and I am definitely getting some roses. Next up, we have the pet shop. This is an animal or nature based deck. And just because I can, I've chose one that has both. This is a beautiful indie deck, and I'm sorry, but it's currently out of print. But this is the Forest Lord Tarot. um, Let me see. This was by Veleda Oracle, and this is the first edition in 2023. It does have a chunky, I would say it's chunky, although it doesn't have any images, but it does have a great deal of information. And it comes in a talk box. The cardstock of these is a little weird, but it still makes for a great shuffle. I have etched mine in the sort of sage green. These are the backs, and these are the fronts. On each of the cards, we get an animal and we get a plant. On the major arcanas, we have only trees, and this is a UK creator, so basically all the flora and fauna that is in the deck is actually local to the UK, which is a little bit unusual because most of the decks and deck creators are from the US. So if you are in the UK, then these would definitely um, appeal more to the things that you can find around you. But yes, all the major arcana is trees. The one's suit is bugs, which is not my favorite, but they are part of, the ecosystem, the natural world. So yeah. The cup suit is marine kind of animals that you will find in the water. This is, of course, my favorite. He is an otter, and I love him. I am obsessed with otters. Love, love, love those little tricksters. The sword suit is, of course, birds because, well, the element of air. And the pentacles is land animals. So we have this little weasel. I love him. Very cute. We had the squirrel before. Then here we have a badger. This other little baby. Sorry. And another thing that I really love about this deck is all the color. And the background colors actually get darker as the suit grows in number. So the cup suit, for example, has a blue background, and early on in the cup suit, the tone of blue would be lighter, and it gets darker and darker as you go forward. And the same thing happens with all of the cards. So I'm a huge fan. You get these purple for the majors, you get pink for the wands, green for the pentacles, there's yellow for the swords, and of course blue for the cups. And it's just such a beautiful deck. And even though many of these images look like pictures and photographs, they are actually illustrations. So it is a very wonderful deck, and I highly recommend it. I'm very sad that this is out of print, but I hope that at some point in the future it can come back. Um, if I am going to the pet shop myself, I always found pet shops to be some kind of torture. I always wanted to get a kitten or a puppy, and I could never go home with one of them. So it was kind of a torture, but I would most definitely go there and pet all the cuties and play with them if I could. I've never been a huge fan of fish or having a fish tank. I find it to be boring. I hope that doesn't offend anyone, but yeah. It is not my favorite to have fish, although they're very pretty, and I do like fish tanks as a decoration, as aesthetic. Um, but I wouldn't necessarily have one, so I would go there and I would pet all the puppies and all the kittens and all the hamsters and all the rabbits. And, well, with enough space and money, I would probably walk away with a few of them as well. I do love them. Okay, next up is the antique shop, a deck that you've had the most history with, good or bad. Now, I've chosen a rather different one for this prompt. In this little bag, I have what I call an oracle deck, but I'm not exactly sure exactly what it is. I've had this deck most of my life. When I was a child, there used to be a really cool um, shop with imported things very next to my flat. My mom loved it. I loved it too. And one day we walked in and I found these cards next to a bunch of crystals. They are very little, about the size of a playing card. They are called Hablando con los Ángeles, or Talking to the Angels. And I like to think of them as oracles. They have a really cute image of angels on the top, and then they have a word. This one is happiness or joy, this one is forgiveness, faith, wisdom, patience, truth. And then they have a little message with them. This is company. And I've had these cards with me. This is communication since I was about 6 or 7 years old. And every time I needed a little um, message or guidance, I will actually pull them out. There was a time when I thought I had lost them, but as it turns out, I left them back home um, when I went away, when I came to London. And a couple years ago, my auntie came to visit me and my brother, and she actually brought them to me. I still have the talk box, which has seen much better days, but it is flattened in a drawer with the rest of my talk boxes. And even though I don't use these as much as I used to, I do still love them and I'm still going to keep them for the rest of my life, methinks. You can see that many of them are bent and they have some wear and tear. And I have also um, mod them a little bit because they only had like a shiny coating on the top, and the back was just like cardboard and no design, and they also weren't very thick. So I decided to mod them, and I used tissue paper that it was white with gold stars, and I glued about 2 layers of it in the bag. So all of the bags are different. And then I got some clear contact paper with stars, and then I covered that with it both on the fronts and the bags. And so now they are thicker and they are shiny and they have stars everywhere, which is my favorite thing. And so, yeah, this is my little deck of cards. It only has 30 cards, so not very many, but they've been with me my whole life. So I'm keeping them for the rest of it, even if I don't really use them that much. I even tried to search on eBay or things like that for a replacement or a second copy just in case, and I couldn't even find anything at all. So I made them this little bag and they stay here with me always. I have them very near to my bed as well. Um, so, yeah, this is my deck that I have the most history with. Now, if I were to go shopping on an antique shop, hmm, what would I get on an antique shop? I don't know. Maybe I'll get some books. I would probably get some books. I love to go thrifting, but I live in central London, so, well, not in central exactly, but London is a very busy city, so the charity shops, as we call them here, are not exactly very well stocked where I live, so it's very rare for me to actually find something that I want to get from them, which is sad because um, I do love to go thrifting, to go to the charity shop. So yeah, but I'd always go and have a look and see what I can find, and I'm hoping that someday I'll get to find something cool. But yeah, so next up we go to the art gallery, and this is a deck with your favorite art style. This is a tricky question because I suppose that we can say that my favorite art style is actually just a very detailed, very highly stylized kind of art. But there are many different um, types of art like this. So I'm gonna show you 3 different decks that I really like the art of. This is the Tarot of the Witch's Garden. This is mass market. It's by Llewellyn, and it's written by Sasha Graham, and the art is by Natasha Ilinchik. I'm so sorry if I didn't pronounce that correctly, but I absolutely adore this deck. Her art is just nothing short of spectacular. I do have another deck by her. It's an oracle deck that used to be indie but is now mass market. I got mine from Los Carabeo, and it's called the Compendium of Witches. And I really, really like it. Her art is just absolutely stunning. I mean, let's have a close up, though you've probably seen these because it's been very popular since its release. And with every reason that there is, because this deck is just absolutely stunning. I love everything about her art. It's so detailed. The colors are just so rich. It's beautiful. This is one of my favorites. The world. You even have the kitty and the witch's hat and some tarot cards, and it's just, I just love this deck. And I do love guidebooks by Sasha Graham. I have a few of her decks, and yeah, I just love this art style. This is one of my favorite decks, and it actually pairs really beautifully with the Sit and Sickle that I showed you earlier, and of course with the Compendium of Witches, because, well, they were made by the same artist. But it's absolutely beautiful. I'm obsessed. Then this one is completely different from that, but is still absolutely gorgeous. This is another creator that I basically collect everything that he makes. And this is the Ethereal Visions Illuminated Tarot Deck by Matt Hughes. If you've seen previous videos from me, you've already seen that I have the other edition of this deck, which is the Luna one. I love it so much that I basically use it every single month for my full and new moon readings. So I work with it at least twice a month, and I adore it. These are the backs. And I also do love and adore this deck. The art is just breathtaking. I do love the Art Nouveau style, which is characteristic of Matt's art. I love the colors, and all of the cards are decked in gold foil, and it's just beautiful. I love everything about this. He makes just the most beautiful things, and I don't have all of his decks yet. I want to get, even though creepy is not really my thing, I do want to get the Mother Mord's Carnival of Souls in time for spooky season. And I do want to get the Kjalar horn. I'm pretty sure that's not exactly how you pronounce that, but I'm trying. But that's the Norse mythology inspired one, and I want to get it. I feel more drawn to Greek and Egyptian mythology, and Roman, of course, but I want to learn more about Norse mythology, and his deck is just, it gives you reasons, motivations to do so, because it's just so beautiful. It really is. And there is a new one that is based on plants. It's going to be, it was originally a Kickstarter, but it got canceled because it got picked up by US Games. Most of his decks are published by US Games on the mass market. This is probably my favorite card of the deck. It's Temperance. And just look at it. Look at her and those golden wings. Ugh, this deck is just, it's beautiful. It's breathtaking, and I love working with it on either of its versions. I really do love it. This is still highly stylized art, which is my favorite kind, but it's different than the first one that I showed you. And the third one that I want to show you, it's also very highly stylized, but a little more cartoony. The artist behind this is Abigail Larson, and this is the Nightmare Before Christmas Tarot. The writer is Minerva Siegel, and this is published by Inside Editions. I'm pretty sure that you've all seen this deck everywhere. it's very popular. Everyone loves the movie, and everyone also loves Abigail Larson for good reason. Um, but I'm still going to show you a few cards. I am not very fond of the deck being pippish, although I do want to start learning Marseille, but I would prefer if the minors were fully illustrated. However, the art is just spectacular, and this is definitely a deck that needs to get pulled out for spooky season. Yes. So, just a winner. It's just a winner. I could keep showing you decks in this category because, well, I do love art, and I do consider that my tarot and oracle collection is partly a mini art collection. Um, I do get decks just because I love the art, so I could keep going in this category for ages, but I won't. I already showed you three, and we still have a few more decks to go. So, yes, that was The Nightmare Before Christmas. I vegged mine in purple, it doesn't come like these. And this is by Inside Editions, and the artist is Abigail Larson. She was also the artist for the Darkwood Tarot, which I love, and the writer is Sasha Graham as well. So that one is also definitely a winner. um, an art gallery. Yes, I do love going to museums. I am, I suppose, the weird ish friend that tells you, okay, well, let's go to a museum just to hang out. I've been to many places, although I still have many, many more to visit. And I guess that a regret that I have from my time in Rome, my time in Italy, is that I didn't get to go to the Vatican Museum and see the Sistine Chapel, but that is on my bucket list for someday. Definitely. Okay, next up is the Hair Salon, a deck that wants you to be your best and most beautiful self. Huh. Well, I'm also going to cheat on this one and show you two different decks. And the first one is this little one. This is Louise Hay's Affirmations for Self-Esteem. This is a 12 card deck for loving yourself. I do struggle quite a little bit with self-esteem. This is the inside of the box. So I ordered this deck with the intention of fixing that, but I would lie if I say that I'm not disappointed that this deck has so very little cards. I really wish that they'd taken the time to make it a full-fledged deck. But I do appreciate a good affirmation, and this is something that definitely helps me with that. I used to draw a an affirmation every week from this deck, and it does help. I do appreciate affirmations. If you repeat them enough, they do have some good effect in you. Something to be said about this deck is that the cards are double sided, which is not my favorite, but it does have at least 24 messages rather than just 12. But I really wish that they had taken the time to do more cards and that they had printed them all single sided rather than these. But yeah, this is a deck that really wants me to be my best self and love myself and be nice to myself, which is great. So yeah, that is one of them, and the other one is going to be the Gentle Tarot. Now, probably I don't think that I have any deck that wants me to to be my most beautiful self in a physical sort of way, but I do love what this deck does for me. These are the backs. I'm not going to linger too long on this deck because I'm pretty sure that everyone has seen it and everyone has it, and that is also for good reason. But I have worked with this deck before in the past, and I especially love the guidebook. This deck also wants me to be my best version. It wants me to love myself. It wants me to connect to nature. It wants me to work on my personal growth. It wants me to be healthy. It wants me to be happy. It wants me to feel peaceful. So, this is a deck that I do love to work with, especially when I need some comfort, when I need a hug, when I need someone to, I don't know, some compassion, I suppose. I do think that this deck and the big guidebook, which I also have, are worth the investment. It's beautiful and it does wonders to guide you and help you with personal growth and to be good to yourself, to learn to be good to yourself. So, yeah, nothing. Um, it doesn't break the wheel, but it works for me. And I think it's very valuable as a resource. Besides, it was created by an indigenous creator. Mari is just fantastic. Now, if I'm going to a hair salon, which I haven't done in ages, I usually cut my hair by myself and I dye my gray hairs with henna powder at home. But if I'm getting something, well, besides a good blowout, because those do work wonders for one, I don't know. I'm thinking that someday, when I don't have to ruin my hair with bleach, I'm actually gonna be dyeing my hair in funky colors, like pink and blue and purple, and especially the first time you want a professional to be doing that kind of stuff. But yeah, that is for when my hair is mostly gray and not just a little, and I don't have to completely ruin it with bleach. But I would be getting that done at a hair salon. Okay, so this is the last stop um, on the official tag, and it is the toy shop, a deck you're going to play with or use next. And I have a really fun combination, a really fun pair for these. And this is, of course, the Desert Illuminations Tarot and the Cowgirls and Aliens Oracle. I'm pretty sure that everyone is very familiar with these. The Desert Illuminations used to be indie, and it is now mass market. I have the mass market edition by US Games. And this is just a riot. It's just so much fun. And I cannot wait to play with it proper, which I haven't done yet. These are the bags. It comes edged in this gorgeous steel. And it is such a fun deck. When it was in the, well, I'm pretty sure that this sold before I started reading tarot. So even if I had wanted to, I wouldn't have been able to get it. But I used to think that it was a little too out there for me. But as everyone got super excited with the mass market publication of it, and I started seeing it everywhere, I just decided that I should give it a try because it is fun and it's out there and it's wacky and it's colorful and it's just fun. It really is. And this oracle as well is not one that I planned on getting, not really. But as I saw it in many channels, especially people pairing it with this deck. I didn't discover or make up this pairing. Um, but I saw especially the messages that you can find here at the bottom. And even though this is quite out there, I've seen that the readings that it gives are actually rather profound. And I can't wait to see where this fun pair will take me. I wish that the Oracle had more cards. It is published by Rockpool, so both of these are mass market, but it has only 36 cards. Look at this. This is so much fun. It only has 36 cards, and I really wish that it had more. I love this star. Gorgeous. Um, but still, I'm pretty sure that the ones that it has will give me amazing messages. So I'm in for this ride. And these are going to be my Leo season decks. These ones come edged in these glorious silver holographic. It's absolutely beautiful. Let's see if we can find my favorite card of this deck. I actually have earrings with an image like these, and I just had to get it. I love this one too. I love these two of swords. Of course, it's going to be in the end, naturally. This is lovely as well. Or did I already? No, here. It's the judgment card. Come on. They're stealing a cow. Okay, they're just stealing a cow. And I love it. I actually have earrings that are like these. I forgot to bring them for filming, but I have earrings that are a spaceship taking a cow, and I love it. I adore this. But yes, this is going to be my pair for Leo season, or at least the first half. I don't know. We'll see. Sometimes I have the intention of working with a pair for a whole month, and sometimes I just feel like I need a change before that. So we'll see. But these just looks fun, and honestly, this year all the decks that have really worked for me are fun and light decks. I think that there is far too much. I don't even know how to call it anymore, but there is just too much horrendous shit happening everywhere in the world. So, yeah. if I am going to the toy shop, what am I getting? Probably a stuffed toy. I do have a number of those stuffed toys, mostly cats. I have a bunch of cats. Or I could also be getting a Funko. I do have a collection of Funkos, although I haven't really added to that collection in a while. But I do love a good Funko. So I could also be getting that. And in some future where I have more money, I would also be getting Legos, like those Lego sets. And I'm starting with the Lord of the Rings, of course. But yes, I would definitely have a lot of fun in the toy shop. Absolutely. Okay, so this is where I go rogue. I'm gonna go a little bit rogue here. And we're gonna have two more stops into our little shopping trip. The first one is going to be the Witchy Shop. And this is a deck that you got for a particular spiritual practice. So I'm going to show you my Isis Oracle. Isis? Isis? I'm not sure how most people pronounce that, but I call her Isis. And of course, this is a Blue Angel deck written by Alana Fairchild. I got it after I felt called to work with the goddess Isis. I etched mine in this electric blue, which is one of my favorite colors. These are the bags. And I do love this deck. The art is absolutely stunning, although I do feel like it's a bit hyper sexualized. But such is the image of women pretty much everywhere. However, it is stunning, and I have become a really huge fan of Alana Fairchild's guidebooks. Not only does she include a great deal of information in them, but also she includes rituals in there as well. So if you do get them to work with a particular deity, um, these are absolutely perfect, and I just wish that she had more, especially of the deities that I personally work with, because, well, yeah, who doesn't want a guidebook like that? So, yeah, this is my witchy shop deck, the Isis Oracle by Blue Angel and Alana Fairchild. I need to see. Yeah, the artist is Jimmy Manton. You can see his name here, Jimmy Manton. He also did the art for the Kali Oracle, which I also have, and I love it too. This is my favorite though. But yes, it is great. And if I'm going to a witchy shop, you know that I'm coming out with crystals and I'm also coming out with decks. It has to happen. It's the law of the land. I might also come out with Palo Santo and maybe some incense, although I have been using incense a lot less lately. But you can never have too much Palo Santo, and you can never have enough crystals, and you can never have enough decks, right? As Marine says, the goblins unite. Woohoo! I'm definitely in that club. Okay, and the last stop in here, and the second prompt that I am adding, is the bookshop, which would probably be my first stop, really. Um, I am a bookworm, and I would definitely be stopping and spending about 4 hours in the bookshop. And this is a deck with a story to tell. And I have chosen the Dungeons and Dragons Tarot deck. I am completely obsessed with Critical Role. I started watching it at some point last year. I have not seen the animated series on Amazon Prime. I'm still almost finished with their first campaign. I need to continue, but I am obsessed with them. These are the backs. I've etched mine in gold, and this is just a stunning, stunning deck. I love the art. I think it's gorgeous. Not the biggest fan of the cardstock, but I have a few decks from this publisher, which is Clarkson Potter Publishers. This is mass market. I have a few of their decks, and I'm not exactly the biggest fan of their cardstock, but I love their decks enough that I am going to not pay attention to that. And instead, I'm just going to play with the decks and enjoy them. Although, of course, the tactile experience is really important when working with decks, but I can definitely ignore it sometimes. I mean, come on. Look at this Ace of Swords. It's just, I adore it. I love and adore it. And yes, I am obsessed with Critical Role. I want to play Dungeons and Dragons. If anyone wants to play D&D over Zoom or something, just let me know. I did get the rules book. I have dice. I have decks. I am ready. If anyone wants to play D&D over Zoom, just leave a comment and we'll arrange something, because this girl wants to play D&D and she doesn't know where to start. So, yes. This is a fantastic deck. I've already worked with it. It pairs beautifully with the Citadel Oracle. I adore it. And something really cool that this guidebook has is that these cards were actually created not just to work as a tarot, but also to help create stories for a campaign. So you do have a little message with the meaning of the card here. Um, Nothing to call home about, but you know, if you know the tarot system, you don't need to rely on the guidebook. But it does have a little story prompt here with the Dungeons and Dragons logo. So, for example, this death card here has a prompt that says, "A vampire lord offers you the gift of eternal undeath in exchange for a single favor." So, you could use this to create stories and not just a campaign, if that makes sense. But it works perfectly fine just as a tarot. So I love this deck and I want to play with it again this year. And I have an Oracle deck that it's very new to my collection that I really want to pair it with, and it's by the same company, by the same publishers. So that should be fun. I still don't know where I'm gonna slot it in my practice, but I do love having this deck and playing with it. And if I am going to the bookshop, I am probably going to get a fantasy book. If you've seen any of my monthly wrap ups, then you'll know that I love reading, and most of what I read is actually fantasy. It's some kind of fantasy, occasionally a contemporary and a romance, but mostly fantasy. And right now, I am in the middle of two different series. Well, not exactly in the middle. I am one book away from finishing the Saint of Steel books. Well, the ones that are published, because that is meant to be a 7-book series, but only 4 are out, and I am waiting on that last audiobook to be available from my library. I cannot wait to get into it because it's also the most meaty, it's the thickest one, and I am excited. And I'm also reading the Stalking Jack the Ripper series. This is by Kerry Maniscalco, and I am halfway through. This series is complete. Is a historical fiction. It's YA, but I really do love it. And I finished book 2 a few days ago, and I'm now waiting on the library for book 3, which is called Escaping from Houdini. Book 2 was Hunting Prince Dracula. So I really need the people that are reading those books to let them go so I can read them. Ugh. Okay. So this is the end of our shopping trip for today. I hope that you enjoyed watching all of these. Let me know what would your choices be for these prompts. If you already made a video for these, I would love to watch it. And um, yeah, if you have any new choices for the prompts that I just added to these, I would love to hear from you in the comments. So yeah, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. I will be launching a second channel. It's called Guided by Your North Star. And I'll be reading cards for people in there. And I'd love to have you over there as well if you'd like. And well, I'll see you next time. Bye bye.